I have a script. I took notes. I actually wrote notes for once. Isn't that exciting? I'm glad that as a small YouTuber who doesn't really need to worry about monetization for ads or sponsors and that kind of stuff, is like I can talk about whatever I want, which in this case is, this video is tangentially about, you know, dying at an orgy hosted by a teenager, which, given some of the things I seem to keep hearing about influencer parties, might be topically relevant. Hi, I'm a thirsty little flower, and I need you to water me, Duke. And today, I'll be performing makeup inspired by the Roses of Heliogabalus by Sir Lawrence Alma-Tadema. Why am I doing this? I think it's fun to take pieces of art that you like and enjoy for whatever reasons. In this case, it's a very pretty picture, and also the batshit problematic queer icon of Heliogabalus in question, and we'll cover that at some point over this. It's just like, I just like to have themes and specific focus for looks. Normally tends to be like, oh, what's the event? What's the, in this case, I'm sitting alone in an apartment, talking to however many people see this video. Hello, hi, how are you? So I like to have a theme in mind because the tyranny of choice is bad. And on some level also just people are always sort of ask like, how are you so cool and stylish and amazing, and hopefully this can shed some light on the internal workings of my brain. Oh, so yeah, this is the picture, and it's like, let's pull, in this case we're pulling, you know, general color, general vibes, maybe a little bit of context around it, and, you know, my own personal tastes, which means this is going to be a little morbid, but you already know somebody dies. Several people die. I think at least 3 people died. Allegedly people died. Also, as an aside, before I get into rubbing things on my face, every time I tossed around the idea of doing this, I always wondered like, oh, should I try and do like 2 looks? One that's nice and wearable for the average person, and then, you know, go for the full flashy stuff that I like to do for me, on me, by me. It's not the right order that those words should be in. The good news is that today I can pretty evenly split the difference in theory. I half know what I'm doing. I made stencils. That's about it. There's a good like halfway point to stop before we get into the really over the top stuff. But let me know if you want to see me do 2, you know, a wearable and a crazy looker. But also I assume if you're here, you're probably here for the weird stuff. Also, hopefully I can remember to announce like what I'm using, what brush I'm using, at least like what I'm using. You can see what brush I'm using pretty clearly. Also, hopefully then like editing me can put in some cute little annotations if I forget, even if I don't. Also, like I said, I did like a little prep work, but also it's like, I don't fully know what I'm doing, and I'm one of these people that likes to have, I'm not one of the people that says like, a palette must be able to do several looks. I don't mind having palettes that spread out. So it's like, oh yeah, let's grab stuff beforehand. How much stuff do we need? And it's like, wow, this is a pile. This is a pile of stuff. But I should probably have a picture of the painting that I am ad-libbing a look to also pulled up. You know, just for easy reference. Like, it's pink. It's fucking pink. But okay. I got my cute little sky blue sweater on to help with that part of the color palette, and my very gay sweater. It's so cozy. I never wear it because nasty and sweaty, and if I can't immediately unzip every layer of clothing I'm wearing at once to help with my heat regulation, I heat rash super duper badly. It's a fun fact. Okay, so shitty eyeshadow exploded in where I'm storing all my makeup right now, and I just keep finding like streaks of brown on everything. Huh, shitty brown. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, color palette is pink and more pink. Soft pinks, a little bit of gold, some blues, some woo. I mentioned I made stencils. We'll see that later. It's to go in with Total Immortal from the Melt Cosmetic She's in Parties palette, which I'm delighted that they made a palette of. I wanted the stack for forever, but I didn't buy it because melt stacks are expensive, and also they're an inconvenient design. Anyway, She's in Parties I quite like as a palette. Can I talk and do makeup at the same time? Sure, yeah. I'm taking Total Immortal. It's kind of going to go into like sockets and like halfway, so we can sort of go with like a little bit darker and then like a little bit lighten it a bit before we get into the, once again I'm putting on a lot of blush for YouTube. This is a trend, I guess. It's my trend. Anyways, painting itself, painted in 1888 by, I said his name already, by Sir Lawrence Alma-Tadema. He was, when he was alive, considered to be one of the most popular painters of the Victorian era because he did these sumptuous, decadent pieces. He painted marble very well. He painted flowers really well. He was a notoriously perfectionist. And he just made things that Victorians liked, which is pretty people sitting around in decadent historical contexts. Not doing much. Very, very static paintings, though. After he died, his popularity sharply dropped off, partly because things like post-impressionism, fauvism, cubism, futurism came into popularity, which are very antithetical styles to his work. And, you know, public opinion changes, critics' opinion changes. I don't know if I should, like, bring some of this under already. We'll get to that. Is that even? I really, every time I ask, is that even? It's probably not. I have something kickier. I think I'm gonna go in with a white and a different fluffy brush. Sugarpill Tako. Tako. I'm not actually quite sure how you're supposed to pronounce it, but it's the white sugar pill that everybody loves. Try and blend this out and apparently just throw powder everywhere. So fun fact about Mr. Perfectionist and his painting of this is that over the course of the 4 months when he was painting the Roses of Heliogabalus, I think I mispronounced that at the start of this video, and I'm going to keep doing it because I move the L in the end. I move the L at the end of the word around, so it's either going to properly Heliogabalus, but I want to say Heliogabalus, whatever. Other things editing me can point out with annotations, because, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and I keep saying I'm super blind without my glasses. Oh, that joke's awful. All right, another fun fact is that because of how perfectionist Lawrence Alma-Tadema, I don't know if I said his name right, Mr. Painter Dude of the video, how much of a perfectionist was, all of the Roman architecture he made could apparently be recreated using accurate to the time period tools and techniques that the Romans would have had and used. I don't think I quite have the right colors I need for this. At least not as eyeshadows. Am I going to be putting blush on my eyes again? I know what I want. I don't remember what the name of this is. Something kind of fluffy, something kind of flat. All right, we have sort of a gradient happening. And now I'm going to go in on my lids with I said like flat, fluffy, kind of pack things in, but also I'm working with a glitter. I don't remember what this is called, but it's from McGrath. From the one McGrath palette that I own, which is number 3. I'm just gonna go in. Ooh, God, I love McGrath glitters. That's not quite as smooth. That's unfortunately too warm versus too cool, but I'm adding at least one more. At least one more glitter in there, if not more, you know. Is it really a look if you have at least 5 different eyeshadows fighting for space on your face? I was talking about building accuracy. So accurate, made with Roman tools and techniques. A lot of movies, including Cleopatra from 1934, 10 Commandments from 1956, and Gladiator 2000, all used. Actually, I wrote Cleopatra in there, and I think that's not the Cleopatra that I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of is the notable box office bomb, but I think that was later. Don't quite remember my timeline, but who cares? These movies and a few others used him for just like pre-made background art, concept art, because he made, like I said, very pretty, very sumptuous, very decadent, very Victorian. So, you know, a degree of white historical revision for the sake of... I forget where I left off in that movie's spot, so it might just be lying dead on the floor now. Sorry, but enough about the painting itself. Right now, the other fun fact about this painting is that it's fucking huge. It's like it's a little under 4.5 feet tall and like 7 feet wide. It's gigantic. It's a giant painting, which I guess makes sense for taking 4 months to complete. God. I'm gonna take yet another fluffy brush, and this one I know for a fact. Natural fibers plays well with this specific glitter. Another one from the McGrath palette, and I wanna, like, really? You're not showing up? You are. This is the issue with this specific one, is because, like, it's very pale, very, can I get good lighting? And then like it's, oh yeah, that's good. That's good. It's like such a nice, but it's so sheer. It's so sheer. And also the other issues with working with shiny stuff is just, you gotta have the light hit it correctly. Yeah, I'm just gonna go over everywhere I put down Immortal that hasn't been covered by still unnamed McGrath all over my lids. Okay, enough about the painting, because like art history is interesting if you're into that kind of thing, and if you're not into it, then it's boring and pretentious, especially in the case of, you know, Victorians who paint super realistic, not super realistic, but you know, fancy realistic stuff and contribute to the general gentrification and rewriting of history to be a lot whiter than it was. Enough about that. Let's talk about Emperor Heliogabalus, Gabalus, it's Gabalus himself, because there's a lot happening there. Going in with a tiny brush, and this is NYX's Ritualistic highlighter. I don't know if this qualifies as eye safe, but some point in my notes, I definitely wrote down, have I already given the speech about like using, I think I have used the expired products speech highlighter into my inner eye. It's a nice, you know, like white gold, and I wanna just kind of get like a little bit of a pop in there, just like a little something, and then if I want to make it golder, we can revisit. But I don't want to go like too gold right off the bat, and this is a nice, like a nice little light, got a bit of shimmer, but also it's like I've put 3 separate light kind of sparse shimmers all in here already. Might be a bit of gilding the lily, might be a bit of fun, exciting, and effective management of my facial features and light reflective qualities. But also this does hit the at least 5 colors requirement I seem to unofficially have for things looks. I want to put some blush on. Did I clean this brush since the last time Okay, I did like some testing for this look, and I used this blush, this brush to do things with blush. And I said, what did I tell myself? Was it, these colors don't have names because, quite frankly, once again, keep in mind, expired products, my own issue. I bought this palette at IMATS from Morphe before Morphe started putting the Morphe label on their pre-packaged private label. I think private label is the term. Stuff. It's old, it's powdery, and it's also, you can judge me. I'm judging myself here too. I want to go in with, you know, a cute, rosy, more red than like pink blush. So yeah, this blush doesn't have a name. Use something that you think works well. And the one important factor here, because we're still in the like wearable human category of this, is like, I don't remember who said this, because when I read it, it was somebody quoting somebody else on Tumblr years ago, but somebody did say this, and that you want to bring the blush all the way to your nose, because that way it makes you look flush that you have when you've just gotten fucked. Once again, this is a painting, allegedly an orgy, definitely a party. I don't actually remember where I heard that it's an orgy. Might have been that poetry night where I heard about this in general. This guy in general for the first time. You know, queer poetry nights at a cute little bookstore, which I desperately would like to sit in again and be a wallflower at their dance parties. I miss wallflowering at like dance parties that nobody's talking to me at because I send in confusing messages to everyone. That feel when you're too femme for basically all gay dudes who you're attracted to, but also femme enough that like every lesbian and other femme non-binary person is like, oh yeah, you're cool, you're approachable. And also just weirdos, chasers, people making assumptions about me in my various app inboxes. I'm so tired. I love men, but they make it so difficult sometimes, you know? Yeah, that's fun. That's cute. This needs something to happen on my brow bone, quite frankly. Just like a little... Let's, I want to put something on my lips first. Let's try... Yeah, let's skip to lips first. Do not have anything that is sufficiently cute and pale enough for any of this, because I like high impact too much. So in this case, I'm going to be taking ColourPop lippy stick. This is called Glam Bag. I'm going to take a lip brush and I'm going to try and get this on a nice sheer-ish. More of a stain than a matte lipstick. Oh, there's foundation all over my lips. Nasty. I have not even started talking about Emperor sex scandal, have I? No, I haven't. About to try and put lips on. Oh god, that's great. That's so smart. I'm just gonna skip to this being done, actually, and then I'm gonna talk. Okay, Thanks. Be right back. I realized as we're doing this color is called Glam Bag because I got it in an Ipsy Glam Bag at one point. Pink. It's a pink lipstick. This needs a little more oomph in the eyes. Let's get into that. Gonna go back in with Total Immortals and add a little more emphasis in places like Emperor Heliogabalus. Step 1 also, I'm gonna be just skimming over big chunks of information because politics is always a lot of moving parts, and historical politics feels like even more so because everybody is related and trying to kill each other. So, you know, Heliogabalus reigned for 4 years, from the ages of 14 to 18. How's that for a resume? He dies at the end. And like, to emphasize the insane politics part, Heliogabalus was installed as emperor because his grandmother wanted power again, because she was, by marriage, she was the aunt to the emperor 2 emperors ago that the guy that Heliogabalus is replaced. Also, all 3 of these like emperors were assassinated or murdered. Same thing, really. Oh yeah, that's adding a bit more. That's adding the kick and the depth that I want, and I want to get into. I said I wanted this to be wearable for normal people, and like, you can follow along at home with interpreting to your own face and color palette desires. It's makeup. Have fun with it. I want to bring this white around a bit more too. Make it big and loud. Maybe a little bit jazzy. So, at the age of 14, Helio was installed as Roman emperor by his grandmother, along with like the support of assorted legions, because the legions are fairly independent-ish. Very least, their alliances can shift and they can support whoever they want, and it sounds like an absolute nightmare. And also, quite frankly, like something I should maybe read up how it works, so I can expect, predict, and possibly enjoy parts of Final Fantasy XIV's writing, because the Garleans... Fantasy Nazis, wow. Fantasy Nazis with a Roman aesthetics-ish structure, vague cultural background. Let's go in and re-up all the glitter. Heliogabalus was, before being emperor, was also high priest of the cult. Not in a scary way, just historic religions are a bit weird terminology-wise. He was head of the cult, religion, etc. High priest that worshipped Egalibus. No, that's not Egabalus. Yes. Oh wait, Egabel. High priest of Egabel, who was a sun god from Syrian province that at some point was annexed by Rome, because Rome was big. Rome had a lot happening. Looking at putting my glasses on to look at this real quick. That's, really should have cleaned my glass. You know what? This is cute. This is a cute look. This is a cute, fun, I'd argue daytime. Daytime if you're not a coward. Anyways, this is cute. This is fun. Now let's do a lot more, because I want to do more. More blush. The usual bones. Can I continue to be educational? Can I continue to be edutainment? Maybe. Probably go over this white again. Whatever. Upon, you know, becoming Roman emperor, he said he did some... His reign, one, was very short, 4 years, although admittedly the guy he replaced was in power for 14 months. Rome had a lot happening, and a lot of politicians dying, which admittedly we could stand to bring back, I think. Heliogabalus's reign was a lot of controversy, both religious and general sex scandals. Because, I don't know, teenagers are horny. Also, it's just an aside, real quick. Even as I am talking about this, just because I'm talking about, you know, a teenage emperor having sex scandals happen, does not mean that I, in any way, I support or condone any kind of pedophilic or ephebophilic, I think that's about the right term, activities, etc. Just so we're clear, don't be a freak about kids and other underage individuals, okay? Thanks. Religious drama. Sex scandals. In the terms of religious drama, which let's cover religious drama first, because it's kind of interesting, much like art history. It's kind of interesting, but it's also kind of dry if you're not into it. I look like an 80s X-Men. Dazzler? Am I vibing Dazzler right now? I think I'm vibing Dazzler. So in terms of, like, you know, religious controversies. One of his first moves as new emperor and also high priest of a foreign province's sun god is to then install Egabul. Also, I should mention that 1. Heliogabalus is an anglicization of Egabalus, and 2. When he became emperor, Helio adopted the name Egabalus as his name. I'm referring him to as Heliogabalus this entire video because it makes things a bit clearer, especially since I'm also talking about the god Egabalus. But he took the name as his when he became emperor. Kind of like Pope names, you know? Something auspicious and grand, make people think of cool things. Branding. My blush antenna. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop fussing with that. Stencils. I made stencils. Fun fact about these stencils is that I used actual petals in the painting as references for these assorted shapes. Petals, petals, oh my god, petals. I have 6 palettes in front of me, and I'm using like 1 color each from all of them. One thing I also learned from testing these is that I didn't leave enough edge around the outside, so there's a very big risk of just like powder fallout happening, and I'm just gonna take more of the blush that I've rubbed all over my face already, and we're gonna try and get into here and not have it go over the edges. And I can't really see, yeah, actually no, I can see like this. Okay, I'm gonna stipple this in and hope that I don't have weird lines. Then also we're gonna, I want to do a little gradient work with this as well, so we're gonna I feel like these look more like cherry petals than anything. Anyways, religion. So you have a foreigner, a foreign teenager, but like, let's just go with, you know, he's foreign. He's emperor now, and he then declares that the god that he is the high priest of kind of replaces. He places his god at the head of the Roman pantheon, replacing the previous head god Jupiter, who you may be more familiar with for the Greeks as Zeus. And this is not a popular move by many Romans. This is a weird, shocking experience. He did attempt to follow tradition a bit by both having at least one of 3 major goddesses be married to him, and then also provide a different alternative sort of, this is really cute. I'm really into this as a thing. Providing a new main trifecta for Rome, starring major goddesses and Egabul. I'm probably mispronouncing that in general. Sorry. Yeah! Cool. So he replaces Jupiter, and then he also has a building called the Egabalium. I feel like there's a pun to be made there, but I can't quite think of it right now. Where he then has both the main relic of Egabul, which in this case is a black meteorite, and all the various sacred relics of every single Roman deity he can get his hands on, all moved to the Egabalium in a bid to consolidate his spiritual, symbolic power, which in turn helps with his, you know, actual practical power. This is going to take a while, I think. So let's keep going. So he's busy rearranging the pantheon and all that stuff, everything religiously. And then to segue from plain old weird, let's rearrange the order of the cosmos into the rest of his controversies, which is to say, a lot of sex scandals, a lot. Heliogabalus was married. I don't know how much I trust any of the sources reporting on this, and neither do most contemporary historians. Was married 5 or 6 times, depending on who you're reading. And 3 of those times were to women, maybe 4. 2 men. He married one of the women twice. He also divorced her once. I don't know if she died. The woman that he wound up marrying twice was a Vestal Virgin, which is an important religious position in ancient Rome, and like the job title has virgin in the name. And fun fact, if you are a Vestal Virgin and you stop being a virgin while you are still in the job, you are buried alive, as is tradition. So that's a fun fact. Intellectual media covers Vestal Virgins in general. Her short history of virginity video, it's fascinating. Check it out. There'll be a link in the description to that video. So he married 3 women, one of them being a Vestal Virgin. Oh my god. How is this turning out so... Actually, no. I need to put my glasses on again. This is still too Valentine's colors. IMO. Whatever. Also, here's another fun fact about this, the alleged 3 people dying at a party buried under rose petals, flower petals. Original historical reports say it was actually like violets and not roses, but some light historical revisionism, you know. Roses are much more romantic and easy to associate with scandalous, debaucherous behavior. Well, the lesson for next time is all of these stencils need to have so much more space around them just so I can grab them. The other 2 people he married, men, one of which, debatable, depends on who you read, was just kind of like an athlete. Other sources say he was actually Heliogabalus's eunuch chamberlain. You know, welcome to the Roman Empire. Here's a castrated personal assistant. Either way, the first guy wound up being exiled by the other, much more relevant to the plot dude, whose name was, I'm not gonna pronounce this correctly. It's close to Heracles. Just put the spelling on the screen because it's got an I in a dumb spot. Heracles, we're gonna go with that pronunciation, was a chariot driver and an ex-slave because Helio freed him. Heracles got quite a fair bit of influence, power, etc., being like the emperor's consort boyfriend that nobody approved of. So as a fun fact, Romans have issues with effeminacy and generally, and I'm pretty certain, homosexuality. Men must be men, women must be women, never the 2 shall meet except to make children. And Helio, very enthusiastic about Heracles, and also, quote, was delighted to be referred to as Heracles' wife, mistress, queen, etc. Also undertook a degree of cross-dressing, prostituted himself at taverns and brothels. Also promised great sums of wealth to any doctor, physician, physic who could give him a vagina. So some people attribute him as being the first publicly trans person, which is... needless to say, all of this cross-dressing, gender non-conforming, homosexual activity confirmed bachelordom, even though once again he got married like 6 times, was both not popular with the military forces that helped him get power, nor with his grandmother who helped put him into where he was. So with grandmother, the woman who put him in power there, and the military forces who put him in power there, both saying, no, we don't really like this, we don't like you, boo, we hate your pussy. They got rid of him, you know, he's died. He was executed, he was beheaded, as was Heracles. Their bodies were thrown into the river Tiber, and after which his strange and controversial religious choices were revoked. He was then promptly put under Daminato Memoria, which is, you know, you erase from the public record all traces of a person that you don't like. Also, you know, known as, George Orwell coined the term unpersoning. They're dead, they're removed from public record, and we never speak of them again. Needless to say though, even with public records of him being expunged quite summarily, spectacularly, etc., and everybody wishing to move on from that embarrassing 4 years, he does still have like a place in our in public consciousness. Historians are of varying repute. with a notable trend of those who were more contemporary to him. Although more contemporary is a bit of a stretch here. Some of the Roman records were still written several hundred years after the fact. A lot of historical records, and this is both like contemporary and a bunch of stuff written anywhere between like the 1700s to like early 1900s, all very critical of him. The Roman accounts were critical and dubious. The 17 to 1900 range, reflecting the values of the time, were also critical of him. Some of it is speculated to have embellished things a bit because white British historians would add their moralizing to historical values and events, especially about this extremely queer-sounding teenage emperor who's just sort of having a party for his short reign. Modern historians, which is stuff from like 1999 and forward, go for a much more sympathetic approach, generally accepting that a lot of the historical records are dubiously biased because personal biases are happening well after the fact, etc. And a general sense that like a lot of the scandal, etc. may in fact just be a degree of character assassination and propaganda. You know, it's just here's a teenager who's getting outmaneuvered by his grandmother for political shenanigans so she can install his cousin. This certainly doesn't have any much of a cult reputation as Heliogabalus does. I think you've seen me do enough of this. I'm gonna do the rest of this off camera. I'm just taking stencils and stamping, so be back whenever. Hi, we're done. I'm done. Wow. I'm impressed with myself. This is cute. This is fun. This is, I think, a bit more body paint adjacent than I was expecting to go to, but I had fun. I had fun. I keep having fun with these. It's unexpected, but good. Reasons to come back and keep doing this, I guess, huh? My brain has left the building. I hope you had as much fun watching this and hearing me dither on about shitty teenage Roman emperors and his various heavily summarized scandals as I did stenciling flower petals onto my face. I guess some other makeup. These eyes are cute. These eyes are a bit subtler than I would want to go to, but it works. It works for this. Maybe a little more pink in the middle, but I also want to be done this. Been filming for a while. Thanks for watching. Remember to tell all your friends about me because, much like Emperor Heliogabalus, I too am a delightful, entertaining spectacle of mess of an allegedly person. Also remember to like the video and comment on the video and subscribe to my channel. I upload videos whenever, really, quite frankly. Right now I just have a lot of free time from my day job. God, it looks so pretty. It's so pretty. Amazing, I have talent. I keep surprising myself and I'm actually pulling things off. Despite kind of knowing subscribe. Adieu. And I need you to water me with your pee.